The Uganda we want. Mbaniriza mu program The Uganda we want. Uganda gye twagala. Nze Mulanzi okubuuzaako n'okwebaza emirimu gy'okola. Mwebale kutulaba abali ku Dream TV, namwe abali ku BTV oba Bunyoro TV, namwe abawulira eddoboozi ku Impact FM Radio Rwasa Mayinja. Etalaaza eggwanga lino e Masaka mutufuna ku 1.5, Ejjinja 17.6, Embale 13.7, ne wano mu Kampala ku 9.8. Tala wa Mayanja mutufuna ku kibanja gaggadde ekya www.imc.ug saako ne ku mikutu gimugatta bantu. Dream TV Uganda, BTV Uganda, Impact FM Uganda, oba osobola okutufuna wonna Instagram, X, wonna YouTube byonna oba otufuna. Saako ne program eno eyina YouTube channel eyetengeredde The Uganda we want. Bw'ogendayo ojja kulaba abantu betuze nga tufuna ne bawa endowooza yaabwe ku ggwanga lyaffe lino erya Uganda nga bwe tulina okutambula era nga bwe tulina okweyagalira mu ggwanga lino. Tubuuza ekibuuzo nti enkola y'emirimu mu gavumenti n'obuvunaanyizibwa bwo gwe munnayuganda bikuwa ekifaananyi kya Uganda gye twagala? Ekibuuzo ekyo nga bw'okiwulira tubeera n'atudde mu ntebe eya The Uganda we want. Era n'olunaku olwaleero tukyazizza yayogerako naffe ebbanga eriise wadde si panvu nnyo, n'atubuulira n'atusomesa n'atuyigiriza bwe tubanga tuli bakuva mu ndooliito ez'ettaka biki bye tulina okukola, kubanga yatugamba nti ku misango gye bwe kibanga ogeragereza ku 100 jazze nga akolako ojja kusanga nti ebitundu nga 95 ababadde baleeta ensonga mu yafeesi ye zibadde zeekuusiza ku by'ettaka. Kati n'olwekyo tuli wamu naye Counsel Fahad Gisa, ono nga managing partner owa Litmus Advocate, gwe tuli naye ate nga era ye lead counsel mu faamu eyo oba mu kitongole ekyo. Tuli basanyufu nnyo Counsel to be with you today, and our viewers on Impact FM and our listeners on Impact FM and our viewers on Dream TV and BTV, they're anxiously waiting to hear from you. But before you project the Uganda you want to see, would love you to greet us, and we know who is speaking to us. And our viewers, just caution to us, we will be using 2 languages, English and Luganda. I know the English might dominate the conversation because our counsel here, but he will try at least to break some words for us into the local language. Counsel, you're so welcome. Could you please greet our viewers and listeners?
Thank you so much, Mr. Mulanzi. I'm really very happy to be here again. It has been over 2 to 3 months since we last had our last program and since I last talked. And I would take this opportunity to greet our viewers out there and to really appreciate you so much for the time you put in to listen to us and also sometimes make calls here and there. I really appreciate you so much, and I think by you viewing these programs, listening to these programs, it's a very big step towards nation building. And I think it's also some kind of a segment of patriotism which is not being taught, but it is something that somebody is born with, because you don't have any choice. Uganda is your country, you can't change it. Even when you change it, you'll have some strings that will not be broken. So I'm really so happy era nga ndi musanyufu nnyo okubanga ndi wano naawe oba nammwe olwaleero.
Wow.
Nga mwami Mulanzi bw'agoogedde.
Yes.
Nze Wasswa Fahad Gisa, ndi munnamateeka mu kibuga Kampala. ofisi zange zisangibwa Makerere Hill Road. Ndi munnamateeka asingira ddala okuwoza ettaka, kuzanya ettaka n'endooliito z'ettaka. Era nga ndi munnamateeka awoza corporate commercial, ebyenfuna. So ndi musanyufu nti olwaleero omukulu ono ankyaziza twongere okutangaaza ku topics nga bw'abadde azibannyonnyodde.
The last time we had our program, someone watched and was listening in, sent me a text of appreciation to you and said, thank you for opening our eyes, because I asked you, how come that instead of having more landy friends, we are landing into more landy fools? And you brought in something that was very important, comparing Law Development Center then and Law Development Center now. And when you gave your view and your insight on what LODC should do or should go back, should revise and, you know, and go back to how they were handling this thing, this person said you really did well to her, and she was very much appreciative.
Oh, thanks.
I hope even the, you know, the guys who are leading in LODC, probably they need to revisit that episode. It is there on the Uganda Want YouTube channel. They can listen to you, because even now there are many that, you know, are still being enrolled to go to LODC right from, you know, where they have done their law degree or bachelor. But so when you come to the practice, still people are still not satisfied the way you handle our cases. I come to you to help me, but I end up helping you and in pain. And we've got a lot on our plate today, but if you could just help us, let's start from there. We come to you to help us, you lawyers, to help us, because we trust you are landy friends. As in, you've learned more than us. That's how we think. But we end up crying. You're not helping us. Where are we going? Where are we heading as a country, Counsel?
Thank you so much, Mr. Mlanzi. I think the analogy and the saying that lawyers are land friends, it came from the fact that lawyers can sometimes, not sometimes, but entirely handle a multiplicity of issues. A lawyer would have an engineer who has constructed a building, and the building has caused some ruckus, or it has costed some people. A lawyer would cross-examine that engineer as if he's an engineer on topics of engineering. A lawyer would cross-examine a doctor who has operated, or a surgeon who has operated a person and forgot cotton in that person, and that person has got some issues. A lawyer would examine on medical topics and on medical issues the doctor, and the doctor would look as if he didn't go to school. A lawyer would also cross-examine a doctor or a midwife that was supposed to help a mother deliver, and instead of rupturing up to 10, ruptured up to 8, and a mother ends up producing a baby that is suffering from salivation and other effects. A lawyer would cross-examine that person on that, and it will look as if a lawyer is extremely so knowledgeable over that field. So from that analogy and from that, that's why they call lawyers land friends, because you must have gotten to know and studied the law of all fields. Now, the question you've asked, it would be very unfair to visit it on lawyers. You get, it would be very unfair to visit that on lawyers. Ask me why.
Why?
Because when you bring your case to me, I'll file it in court. We don't do our work independently. We do the work with court. We do our work with police, the military, the journalists like you. Some people need to know this, and others. Now, I can give you an example of a normal land case that has been filed in court. And that normal land case, a lawyer will put papers and everything in court. And because there are limited numbers of judges that are addressing these matters and limited high court circuits, that puts a lot of pressure in terms to do with cases. Your case will take time. You may find that you may argue a land case for over 7 years. But a lawyer has done his work. But because the judge that is presiding over that matter has a lot on his plate, you will get dates that are a little bit distant from each other, hearing dates. And by the end of the day, you'll think that is your lawyer who is not doing his work. I can give you an example. Recently, as I was talking to had a matter in PG over my client, and I will not speak the client's name here on air, but I'll tell you the facts. The law permits me to do that. My client was 98 years old. My client had land disputes, very serious land disputes over his land. And we had filed each and everything in court. Each and everything in court. The judge in Impiji, his lordship, Oyuko, Ojok, has a lot on his plate. I can't blame him. But my client was telling me, you see, Counsel, I'm about to die. I need judgment.
He's also right.
My kids are going to cut themselves in 2 pieces if I don't get judgment over this land. I don't want to die when this case is not
Handled.
I need judgment. But I was like, look, I have put everything in court. But even court has its own pressure. It has a lot of matters that is handling. What my client did, my client went to court, asked for the clerk.
On his own?
On his own. You get? Requested to meet the judge. These are the words that he told the judge. You see, you man, I'm about to die. I've been coming to court always. My lawyer is so vigilant. And I'm not getting judgment. What is the problem? If the problem is money, I have a bag of money here. Tell me why you're not giving me my what? My judgment. Now the judge told my client. He was speaking about it actually in court open. He was like, you see, your lawyer is very vigilant. He's doing each and everything. But I have a lot of cases that I'm handling. And I promise I'm going to give you judgment before end of February. But get that money, put it on your account and keep it very well. Even don't tell your kids. So that when I give you judgment, it would also form part of the money that you will dispute to your kids. You get?
Do we still have such judges in this country?
Yes, it happened.
Wow.
It happened. I give credit to Justice Oyuko Ojok in Impiji, the presiding judge in Impiji. He was speaking about it open.
I know him.
Yes. So you realize that the client had paid his lawyer very well. The case is filed. He's waiting for judgment. He's so anxious.
He's even willing to pay more.
He's willing even to corrupt the judge.
Yes, that's the right word.
You get to corrupt the judge. But the judge is like, no. So sometimes, as much as even us as lawyers, we may have our shortcomings, but sometimes it is not independently lawyer that is kind of delaying a client's case or a client's matter to be handled. There are a lot of factors that come into play. The court system itself.
What's wrong with the court system, Counsel?
I think we don't have enough judges.
So we have many cases, fewer judges.
Fewer judges. And I would appreciate the Chief Justice and the government of Uganda as per now. The courts have, the structure has been constructed. There is the structure. You get, the courts have changed their images in different areas. We have in courts that have been installed, but we don't have judges there. In a court like Mpigi, it would be proper to have about 2 judges and about 4 magistrates. You get, because Mpigi takes the whole Gomba, Mpigi district. You get, Butambala, that is all Mpigi. And just imagine land disputes that
within
are in Gomba,
Butambala,
Butambala
and Mpigi.
and Mpigi. And I don't know even it may be going beyond that. When you look at Masaka Court takes Rakai. Masaka High Court. What is the next district there?
There's
from Chotera.
Even Zimbabwe is part of that.
You get. So Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
You get. All the land dispute is there. Come to Masaka Court. And there is a lot of pressure. But it would be proper that each of those districts has a high court. Because if government really needs judges, there are people who qualify to be judges of the high court. There are people who qualify to be magistrates of the high court.
So why are they not recruiting them?
It is a...
Okay. Why are they not recruiting you people?
Me personally, I wouldn't.
I'm saying you in plural.
Okay, us. But me, when I speak for myself, me personally, at this age of mine, I wouldn't desire to be a judge.
So probably you
but
could
there are other colleagues
but
of
you
mine.
Could be representing others
Yes.
who are thinking like you, and now that is costing us.
Yes. No.
Yeah, it is costing us.
You see.
Exactly, it is costing us.
You see, there are others.
Yeah.
I have colleagues that have applied to enter to go to the bench or to become judges and to become magistrates. And they have been left out. Even the recruitment
Do they give reasons why?
Yeah, they have done everything. You get. We fail to understand the basis and the scrutiny upon which they depend on. You get. The fact is that we still need judges.
This has been our cry. I'm speaking as a Ugandan who has ever gone through the system of our judiciary and I was not served well. And there are many other Ugandans, Counsel, that you're speaking to who are having the same pain. Every now and then we say, we've got a lot of, do you call it case backlog? Okay? We have many cases, but fewer judges. And you're telling me, we've got many like you who are qualified to join the bench. But they are not being given the chance.
There are many like me who are willing, who have interest, or who are willing to be at the bench. You get? Me, personally, I'm not interested to be at the bench. I'm comfortable where I am as a litigation lawyer. Very comfortable, because that's where my passion is. But we have a lot of them whose passion is to be judges, but they have not been given that opportunity. Even the recruitment process is a little bit locking them out. Yet we really need these people to go and serve the Ugandans. Because it does not make sense for a law firm to have about 16 lawyers, and those 16 lawyers, some of them are not interested in litigation, but they would serve better as judges, as magistrates. You get? I think if each and every district of Uganda has a high court.
You're suggesting to us as a country that if each district in this country has a high court,
would reduce on the number of on the backlog that we are having. Even the justice system would be a little bit faster. Because why should somebody from Mpigi, Gomba, Butambala, all go to one court in Mpigi? In other words, we are even burdening our judges and we are making them grow old faster, putting a lot of burden on them. These are people who have families, who have wives. If they would handle a limited number of cases, they would give it a lot of attention. But over 60 districts. And we have what we call pecuniary jurisdiction. And we have a limit that a case that is in this weight would go to the magistrate court. A case of this limit would go to the high court.
The high court.
And you find that most of these cases qualify to be in the high court. You have one person sitting there as a judge. That person has to make research. That person has to make very good judgment. By the end of the day, you are going to burden this person. Yes, it is his work, but he should be looked at enjoying his work, but not looking at his work as a burden. So it would be proper that each and every district has a high court. A district is fully fledged.
Do you see that possible with us?
It is very possible.
Because I want you to look,
you see,
broader with our country. Are we able to do that, as you're suggesting that?
It is very possible.
And how can we have that?
It is very possible. Uganda is a rich country.
Okay.
The moment you open up a district, that means you are going to open up district headquarters. You get. And if you open up district headquarters, then you should be able also to construct court structure. And the court structure may be there. Actually, court sometimes is not the building. No. Here where we are seated now, we can have high court held here.
Oh.
Where we are seated here, we can have high court held here.
Is that by law?
Yeah.
Okay.
Court is not a building. So long as we have a judge, we have clerks and everything. You get.
They can sit anywhere.
Yes, they can sit anywhere.
Okay.
So me, I'm thinking that it is my thinking that it is too early to put the blame on lawyers. If you bring your matter to me as a lawyer, and in one way or the other you feel not help, there are a lot of factors. Another thing that I can talk about is police. We work with police also. But one of my clients may be arrested at police. And you as a client, you need bond. It is between me and you that bond is not paid for. You get? So there must be strict cooperation between the lawyer, the detainee's lawyer, and the police to make sure that justice is accessed by the detainee. So once you call me as your lawyer that you need bond from Chira Road Police Station and you don't get it, then you put a blame on me as your lawyer.
That you have failed.
You have failed.
Yeah,
but police may be the one failing me. Or me myself, actually I may even be the one failing police. In one way or the other. So I think there are a lot of factors that come into play. Yeah. Another thing would be the armed forces. You get. You may be arrested by the UPDF. The arresting authority knows it very well that when you are arrested, you must be put in lawful custody. But you are put nowhere.
Oh.
What we hear, that you have been arrested. But we don't know where they have put you. You come to your lawyer has nowhere to begin from. Then after you will say that my lawyer is not what?
He's not
helping me. But from where? You get?
So, Counsel, in just 2 minutes, because we are going to come to that very key component you're bringing up in our discussion tonight about bonds, bail, and so on. But earlier on, you talked about the lawyers who are willing, to join the judicial system as judges and so on. And you talked about that probably there could be an issue with the recruitment. I don't want to ask this, but I have you, and I want to know from you. Do you think even in the recruitment process of judges, there's some politics at play? Why they're not, allowed to have more judges? Because this cry has been there. How come that we are not really stepping up as a country to handle this. We have the resources. We have the facilities. But we are not doing the recruitment. Is there any politics at play?
You see, as a lawyer, I wouldn't tell you that there is politics at play. Ask me why. Because personally, I've never applied.
But you have testimonies from those that have applied,
But
and
from those that I've had, because me personally, at this age and at this time, my interest is not to be at a bench. No, it's basically to be a litigation lawyer. But those ones who have in law would call it hearsay. You get, somebody will come and tell you, I did each and everything that they wanted, but I was left out. You get, some of these people are our colleagues that we've gone to school with. We know their capability. They are very good lawyers. Even when you are appearing with him before a judge, you would feel very comfortable because he's a very good lawyer. And you think that if such a person would be at that bench, it would be very good. You get, so sometimes
basing on the hearsay, they are not given the chance.
Yes, they are not given the chance. They are given the chance, but they are also not aware of the reasons upon which they are left out.
They are left out. Thank you so much,
it is some
Counsel.
kind of a mafas situation.
Uganda gye twagala, the Uganda we want. Tuli wamu ne Counsel Wasswa, Fahad Gisa, nono nga managing partner okuva ali ku Litmus Advocates. Gwe tuli naye. Mu kintu kino ekyokubiri ekisembayo, twagalira yongera okutuyamba tutegeere. Eggwanga lino ebimu ku bisinga okulitawaanya erya Uganda bwe bubbi. Bannayuganda bannange babbi. Abamu bwe baka babba, ne bazuukuka nga babba, ne batambula nga babba, n'obalaba nga baseka bubbi bwereere, boogera bubbi bwereere, kwegamba kiri mu kututawaanya. Tulina ebizibu bingi, naye ekyo kyo kikyeriisa nkuuli. Pulezidenti w'eggwanga lino yavuddeyo akyaliko n'ayogera n'agamba nti omuntu bw'ababbye ye ali mu kutawaanyizibwa n'ekitongole kino ekya poliisi n'ekitongole ekiramuzi. Ejjukira n'abagambye ndi ne Counsel n'ekitongole kino ekikwasaganya ensonga zino ez'amateeka. Oli bw'ababbye ye agamba temumuwa bail oba temumuwa bondi, temumuta ku kakalu ka kooti oba aka poliisi. Counsel, nze ndi musanyufu okuba nga nkufunye ate nga ebintu bino ogenda kutuyamba tubitegeere. Tutegeere ne President kyasaba kisoboka mu mateeka oba tekisoboka, then katugenda kuvaawo tutyawo we tuli. Kuba President alabika eby'amateeka ayagala muveewo mudde wali yakole kiki. Tuyambe tutegeere. Akakalu ka kooti kyeki, akakalu ka poliisi kyeki, era President kyasaba nti omuntu ye mu ensonga eba yakubba oba wemabega yulako n'emisango ga gwa naggomola. Criminal lwaki mumuwa bail, lwaki mumuwa bondi. Bwe bito. So twagala tuyambe tutegeere. N'endowooza yo gituwe.
Mwami Mulanzi neyanziza kitundu kino ekyokubiri tuza tujja kukozesa ennyo n'Oluganda nga tulutabudde n'Oluzungu nga bwe wasabye. Watu obubbi nga bw'obwogeddeko tebuli mu Uganda yokka, ate ndowooza obubbi obuli mu Uganda butandika butandise. Abawuliriza abali eyo bwe banaaba basobodde okubeera liberal, buli wamu waliwo obubbi. Obubbi gye gimu ku mize emikulu egibaddewo nga ne Yesu tannazaalibwa nga weegiri. Naye ensiri bw'ekuluma ate tojjaayo pisito ng'eri ku mubiri gwo ogikuba essasi,
ogenda kwekuba,
ojja kumaliriza weekubye, ensiri ogisse naye naawe weekubye. Ate ekiwundu ekyo kijjanjabireko ki? Ebbanga. So President kyagezaako okukola kuddira nsiri gikubisa ssasi, kati ate ng'agikuba eri ku mubiri gwe. ate ekizibu ekyensiri kino bwe kinaavaawo ekizibu ekinaaba kisigaddewo akijjanjabira ebbanga. In other words, you cannot solve an issue of a mosquito that is on your body or that is biting you by using a Beretta pistol or by using a Glock to shoot it. You will shoot the mosquito, but also you will sustain a bigger injury on your body that will take you time
to heal.
So the president's issue of abolition of bail, as you're talking about it, and bond, is having a pistol and shoot a mosquito that is biting you on your body. The injuries are so deep and they will take a lot of time to heal. You cannot discuss the right to bail without discussing the tenets of fair hearing. Oba tosobola kudiscussinga bail nga tudiscussinze fair hearing. Oba omuntu akoze omusango okumuwulira mu bwenkanya. Olina osooka omuwulira. Ne bw'aba yasse omuntu ng'omulaba, ayinza okuba yasse omuntu naye ng'omusajja mulalu.
N'awonerawo?
Si kuwona naye nga mulalu. Ayinza okuba nga yasse omuntu naye nga wabaddewo provocation. Gwe n'ogenda okumuvunaana n'omuvunaana mada ekifo ky'omuvunaana manslaughter. Oba ontegeera? Oyinza okulowooza nti yabbye naye nga bamuyunze section. Bamuyunze buyunzi naye nga amazima teyakoze eki?
Teyabbye.
Oba ontegeera? Ebyo byonna asobola bikola ati. Ssemateeka waffe ennyingo 23 eyogera ku bail. Ennyingo 28 eyogera ku fair hearing n'ebirala. Aye tulina amateeka malungi nnyo. President kyayogerako ekyogamba nti bail yandibanga yeremesezza okubanga obubbi busolovingibwa.
Bajja babbye ne tubazaayo. Poliisi n'ebata, kooti n'ebata.
Si ensonga eyo.
Ensonga eri ki?
Oba ontegeera. Tosobola kujjawo bail olw'ensonga nti mu nsi gy'afuze oba gy'afuga eno bw'aba agifugira ku mateeka aye tasobola kujjawo mateeka gakola ki galina kufuga nsi. Okujjawo bail kijja kubanga okukwata emmundu okuba ensiri. Injuries zetugenda okusustaininga in our legal system zigenda kuba traverse. Mbuuza zitya?
Counsel nga sinakubuuza zitya. Watya bail yonna nga bweri mu nnyingo eya 23, 28 nga tugireseewo naye ku mubbi ne tugijjawo bw'aba bbye.
Gwe ani amukakasa nti mubbi?
Tumulope yabbye eza PDM.
Yabbye eza PDM obukakafu buliwa nti yabbye. Kooti ziba za mugaso ki? Kitegeeza mutuddeyo gye mutudde mu birowoozo byammwe musazeewo nti mubbi, mumusalidde omusango mumusindise. That's not the country that we are building. The country that we are building, oba so omuntu oba mutemyeko omutwe nga mumulaba, let him be aligned in court. Bw'onaatandika okikolawo nti ku mubbi tewali bail, n'atali mubbi bagenda gamba yabbye. Oba ontegeera? Bamuyunge binge bamuyunze bagende bamusibe. The country we are building is not that country. You are taking us to the lawless country, jungle law. It is very important for the president to realize that for the 30-40 years he has been in power, this element of bail is one of the things that recognize his regime as a legitimate regime and as a regime that in one way or the other may be still respecting the law. As much as there are people that are doing what he exactly thinks, but the majority Ugandans are benefiting from bail.
So what is suggesting we have people who are already implementing it?
I've not seen it. I've not seen it. But me, as a
teriyo
lawyer,
bebakwata ne police nebalemera ne bamma bail.
Police tegaba
bamma bond.
Police egaba bond.
Teriyo.
Naye bw'osoma Police Act, police okugaba bond eyina eddembe okuwa bond oba obutagikuwa. Oba ontegere eyina discretion. Singa ekizuula nti okutta tagenda kuddamu kusobola kukukwata, esobola okukuma bond. Oba ontegeera? Esobola
n'okwekwekera omwo nti twabadde twate ne bwabanga bamanyi basobola okukwata. Ne basobola okwekweka omwo.
Yes, that happens so much on political cases.
Okay.
Yes, that happens so much on political cases. You get? So, I really don't agree. And President abolishing bond and bail is not just him coming up one day and say there is tetukyetaaga bond evuddewo. No, it should be a legal process. And once he does that, you will see lawyers will go to constitutional court opposing that, because you scrapping off bond, bail and bond interferes with the right of fair hearing enshrined in our constitution. You cannot. The presumption of innocence would have been now turmoil and trampled off.
Yeah.
You get?
But Counsel, kati otandise kulabikanga enkima ngeri mu kibira. Omutemi najja naga tutemewo emiti gino n'abuuza nkima emiti tugiteme. Ekima teyinza gamba nti no bannaye muteme.
Mr. Mlans, not that. The presence of the law of bail directly benefits Ugandans. It directly benefits Ugandans. Let me tell you some of the reasons why we need bail, advantages of bail, or the legal ramifications and justifications of what?
Of a bail and a bond.
You get bail. One, we believe that because remember, our law is based on the issue that somebody is presumed innocent until proved guilty. Even now, if they arrest you, you are not a criminal at that time. You get? You are not a convict at that time. They have not convicted you. You are just a suspect.
Tutebereza.
Yes, you were suspect. If you were suspect at that time, you have a right to bail. Because there is no evidence that you have not been aligned to court. And the court has proved you what? Guilty. You get? So you being a suspect, you are a detainee. If in case they detain you, you are just a detainee. Now, if they have arrested you, Mr. Mulans, God forbid, who has power and who has access to look for evidence to prove you innocent? It is you yourself. You get? You won't look for that evidence to prove to the justice system that I'm innocent when you are inside. You must get out and collect evidence and put your evidence before the bench or before the judge. You get? So, because of that, you can only benefit from the presence of bail. You get? And another thing, some people may be detained, but they are very ill. They are very ill. They cannot manage the condition in what?
In prison.
In prison. So such people must come out, they get treatment, and after getting treatment, they will always go and appear for their trial. I can give you an example of just what has happened and what is going on social media and everywhere. You remember about the issues to do with the Segirinya and his bail?
Yali mulwadde.
Yes. Musajja yali mulwadde. Musajja n'agamba naye bampe bail sigenda kudduka. Nsobola okwejjanjaba nga bwe nkola ki?
Nga bwe mpoza.
Nga bwe mpoza. And when they gave him bail, yagenderawo direct mu ddwaliro. So, if bail has been scrapped off from our laws, you realize that very many people will die in prison. And with the current political understanding and status, If you touch bail, we are opening a Pandora's box
Really?
that we may not manage to cover back. Because the only remedy, immediate remedy a detainee will have to access back his rights would be bail. And bail is constitutionally provided for. Unless we were telling us that we are going to change our law and we begin saying you are guilty until proved innocent. So immediately you arrest somebody, you convict. Those are kangaroo courts. We can't have them. With due respect, by the time in 1986 when the president came in power, the issue of rights and everything to the Ugandans was a little bit not proper. But it is the same president that has given these people time to go to school and get educated in all of these things.
So they know their rights.
He has given them time to know their rights. They know their rights. You get it? It shouldn't be the same president who is taking away their what? Their rights. Because he has given them power to learn all of these things. When you go in Kampala and you ask about bail on street, people know about this. People are aware about this. So you cannot take away bail. You are opening a Pandora's box when you are going in a time of election. How many people are we going to arrest? That immediately the police arrest you, they presume you guilty, they remand you. You get? The president himself should know that for the 30, 40 years he has been in power, Ugandans have changed in the way of thinking. By the time he came in power in 1986, the way we are thinking then is different from the way Ugandans are thinking now. Their exposure to the outside world, what happens in Kenya, what happens in Tanzania, what happens where, what happens in the US, what happens in Canada. It is, in 1986, we are not fighting homosexuality. You get it when the President Museveni came in power. Now, it is one of the things that we are fighting. You get, in 1986, we are not fighting social media misuse. Now we are fighting social media what? Misuse. A boy. Yes. So that is not the Uganda I want. The Uganda I want is one where a president cannot wake up one day and say, I don't want this law, I don't want this law.
That's the Uganda you want?
Yes. The Uganda I want is where a president will realize that if I don't want anything, it is not a command, but it should be the people's will, and the rule of law should prevail over the rule by law.
What's the difference between the to rule by law and the rule of law?
Rule by law is dictatorship.
You rule by decree?
By decrees.
Hey.
You wake up one morning, you say, I don't want this. I think that's why that's why the NRM government had to fight the Obote and the Amin government, because it was ruled by law. Now that we are in seemingly rule of law, the issue of bail should not be discussed. It is a Pandora's box that we are opening. It is getting a gun and shoot a mosquito that is on your body. You will kill the mosquito, but the injuries that you are going to sustain, you will treat them for years. At this time when we are going in elections, it is too bad.
And just before we close off our show today, there's something that always comes up whenever you lawyers stand up to, maybe you're trying to defend your clients. And like recently we had something, a word, contempt of court. And the man was imprisoned was sent to prison for 9 months. Because what is contempt of court? Is it getting pangas and whatever, and you know, you try to hit the judge or whatever? What is that?
You see, one, I will condemn. I'll look in this camera and I speak it to all Ugandans that I condemn what the military court did. It is shaming us as a country. It is extremely too bad. It is barbaric. It is unheard of. It is politically engineered, and it is too bad. Regardless of anything that is going out there. A judge should be a person who is very accommodative and very understanding at whatever cost.
A judge.
A judge. And at this time, I'll send my message to my brother, Aaron Chiza, who is a human rights activist and who is now illegally detained by a military court where he's not supposed to be tried.
No, Counsel, what you're saying is not true. It was a judge who sent him to prison. How can you say he's illegally detained?
A chairperson of a military court or a court martial is supposed to try soldiers, non-civilians. Aaron Chiza is a civilian. Dr. Kanokiza Besigye is a civilian.
He's a retired general, retired colonel.
Does it, if he's retired, does it make him a soldier? He's retired. That means he's not a soldier. No. I think the other guy that is, the other Haji Rutare, is it?
Haji Rutare.
Haji Rutare is also a civilian.
He's even a Haji.
Yes, he's a civilian. What would term as contempt? Contempt is mainly some way of disrespect of court, some way of doing something that is disruptive to court when court is going away. By so being, that makes it an offense. You get? And even when you are being charged of contempt, you need a right to fair hearing. Was Counsel Aaron Chiza given that right? Was he given a right to a fair hearing? It was a directive. Arrest him, sentenced. You get? I know today they were supposed to apply bail for him, but I'm very sure that they are not going to grant him bail. They will not give him bail. If it is today, they will not give him bail today. You get? So there is some phobia that the military court, in one way or the other, wants to instill. You are coming before us, but even though you were a lawyer, anytime we can throw you in. Forgetting that a lawyer is a member of court.
Any lawyer
is an office of court. You get? So if you are treating a fellow office of court in such manner, I would love it so much that after all of that had happened, we would witness it on the news, on the radio station, on the TV, that the chairperson of the military court convened a meeting of all lawyers.
To do what?
To discuss what would think of contempt and tell them this and this is contempt and wouldn't want this and this to go on. Because if you were a judge, you should wear a very hard skin. You are going to be insulted. You get? You're going to get a lot of issues from the people that you are trying. But you should be able to accommodate. So, in any way, if my colleague Aaron Chiza had in any way disrupted court, he would access a fair hearing. Which fair hearing he didn't access. Aaron Chiza would be given a right to defend himself, which was not given to him. Aaron Chiza, in one way or the other, even when he would be extreme, the judge or the chairperson of a military council or a military court or court martial or the martial law should be that person who should accommodate all of that. Because the matter that is presiding over is not an ordinary matter. You are having one of the biggest opposition leaders in your court. You expect emotions to go high. You are having an activist lawyer before you. You see, when as lawyers we voted Semakade, some of you people in the public didn't welcome it. But this is what my president, the Law Society president, is talking about. The judicial intimidation, where judges and the chairperson of the law council thinks that he should intimidate lawyers. When you appear before this judge or this chairperson, you should appear, it should look as if you are appearing before a small god in a small container.
You shouldn't say everything
you get. You should be intimidated. Lawyers should appear in fear of being thrown for contempt of court into prison. This is what we are fighting. You are actually, we studied the same law. It is just that you are sitting the other side and I'm this side. You get? You are the other side, I'm this side. You are serving the public from the other side and I'm serving the public from this side. And you cannot serve the public when I'm not there. So that judicial intimidation. With the due respect, that's what our president, Semakade, was talking about. When you hear him saying banging the table, those are the table we should bang. So if I'm an office of court, all lawyers that appeared before the military court become officers of that court. So is that how you treat officers of your court? By arresting the officers of your court, throw them into prison, detain them without trial? That's not the Uganda I want. The Uganda I want is that Uganda where judicial officers respect lawyers and lawyers respect judicial officers.
So respect on both ends.
Yes, and respect is not earned. Is not, you can't force me to respect you.
Yeah.
You get? Before you think of me respecting you, you should also what?
I should respect you.
Yes.
Wow. Counsel, thank you so much for your time. I hope God will give us some other time and we have a discussion with you. There are a lot of things we've not talked about. I see you very passionate about the civilians, especially when you fight for them in issues of law, of land, and so on. Hopefully we'll get time and talk more about your recent cases that you're now handling in line with helping Ugandans. But for today, thank you so much for your time and we wish you well.
Thank you.
Our viewers, that's it for now. We thank you for watching us. You've heard it from Counsel Wasswa Fahad Gisa. You as a Ugandan, what are you going to do to ensure that we achieve the kind of Uganda that we want? My name is Mulanzi. Bye-bye.